Right now, as you watch this, invisible armies are fighting a war no camera will ever capture. They're not firing bullets or dropping bombs. They're building machines that think, learn, and decide who wins the future. This is the story of the AI war between nations, a conflict happening in server rooms, research labs, and boardrooms across every continent. The question isn't whether this war is real, it's whether we'll even know who won until it's already over. Context in one breath. For the past decade, the world's most powerful nations have been locked in a silent race. The United States, China, Russia, the European Union, Israel, and others are pouring billions into artificial intelligence systems designed for surveillance, cyber warfare, autonomous weapons, and information control. Unlike nuclear weapons or space programs, this race is mostly invisible to ordinary people. It happens behind classified doors, inside corporate labs that partner with military agencies, and through acquisition deals that reshape entire tech industries. This matters now because AI has crossed a threshold. Systems like GPT-4, Claude, and China's Ernie bot can write code, analyze satellite images, predict human behavior, and even generate convincing propaganda at scale. Whoever controls the most advanced AI doesn't just gain a military edge. They gain the power to shape reality itself, what people see, believe, and do online. Timeline of key events. The modern AI arms race began quietly in 2012 when a Canadian researcher named Geoffrey Hinton proved that deep learning could recognize images better than humans. His breakthrough won a competition run by ImageNet, and within months, Google hired his entire team. China's government noticed. In 2013, they launched a national initiative to dominate AI by investing heavily in computer vision and facial recognition. The Ministry of Public Security began deploying surveillance cameras with AI software in Xinjiang province, creating what researchers later called the most sophisticated digital monitoring system on Earth. Source: Human Rights Watch, 2019. Visual split-screen map showing AI research hubs lighting up across US and China, 2012 to 2015. By 2016, the race had intensified. The U.S. Department of Defense created the Algorithmic Warfare Cross-Functional Team, nicknamed Project Maven, to use AI for analyzing drone footage in conflict zones. Google agreed to help, then faced employee backlash and withdrew in 2018. Source: New York Times, June 2018. Meanwhile, China launched its military-civil fusion strategy, erasing boundaries between private tech companies and the People's Liberation Army. Companies like SenseTime and Megvii became global leaders in facial recognition while feeding their systems to state security agencies. Source: Center for Security and Emerging Technology, 2020. Russia took a different path. With smaller budgets than the US or China, they focused on AI for information warfare. The Internet Research Agency in St. Petersburg pioneered using machine learning to optimize propaganda and target vulnerable audiences on social media. U.S. intelligence agencies reported that during the 2016 election, AI systems helped identify which Americans were most susceptible to disinformation, then flooded them with customized content. Source: Senate Intelligence Committee Report, 2019. The Kremlin denied involvement, calling the accusations Russophobic hysteria. Pattern break. Question: how do you fight an enemy you can't see? In 2017, China's State Council published a development plan declaring AI a national priority. The document set a goal: become the world's primary AI innovation center by 2030, with a domestic industry worth $150 billion. The plan explicitly connected AI dominance to military superiority and social stability. Source: Chinese State Council, July 2017. Western analysts called it a declaration of technological war. Beijing called it economic modernization. The United States responded with its own strategies. In 2018, the Department of Defense published an AI strategy emphasizing warfighter trust and responsible AI, contrasting American values with authoritarian competitors. Document DODAI Strategy Summary. The Pentagon created Joint Artificial Intelligence Center, later renamed Chief Digital and AI Office, to coordinate military AI projects. Funding exploded from $600 million in 2016 to over $4 billion by 2023. Source Congressional Research Service 2023. Israel emerged as a quiet power player, with mandatory military service and a culture linking defense service to tech entrepreneurship. Israeli companies like NSO Group and Cognite developed AI-powered surveillance tools sold to governments worldwide. In 2021, investigations revealed that NSO's Pegasus spyware, enhanced with machine learning, had infected phones belonging to journalists, activists, and politicians in dozens of countries. Source: Pegasus Project Investigation, July 2021. Israel defended these sales as legitimate security exports. Critics called it digital mercenary work. Visual, timeline scrub with chapter dots marking 2012, 2016, 2017, 2021, 2023. Europe attempted a different approach. Rather than compete directly in the arms race, the European Union focused on regulation. In 2021, they proposed the AI Act, the world's first comprehensive legal framework for artificial intelligence. The law would ban certain AI uses, like social scoring and real-time facial recognition in public spaces, while imposing strict rules on high-risk systems. Source: European Commission, April 2021. But regulation moved slowly. While Brussels debated legal text, other nations deployed increasingly powerful systems. By 2023, the competition had reached what experts called the foundation model phase. Both the US and China were investing in massive AI models trained on trillions of words and images. OpenAI released GPT-4 in March 2023, demonstrating reasoning abilities that shocked even researchers. Within weeks, reports emerged that China's Tsinghua University had trained a similar model called GLM-130B. Source: MIT Technology Review, March 2023. Neither side would confirm whether these models had military applications, but the dual-use nature of AI made the question almost meaningless. Any system that can understand language can also analyze intelligence, generate cyber attacks, or create propaganda. Lower third: dual-use technology, civilian innovation with military application. The same year brought escalation in AI chip warfare. The United States expanded export controls, banning the sale of advanced semiconductors to China. NVIDIA's H100 chips, the most powerful processors for AI training, became contraband. The goal was to slow China's AI development by cutting access to essential hardware. Source: Commerce Department, October 2023. China responded by stockpiling older chips and investing $40 billion in domestic semiconductor production. The chip war became the AI war's most visible front. Then came the autonomous weapons question. In 2023, Ukraine's military began using AI-powered drones that could identify and track targets without human input. The systems didn't make kill decisions automatically, but they came close. Source: Royal United Services Institute, 2023. Russia deployed similar systems. Both sides denied crossing the line into fully autonomous weapons, but observers noted the line was blurring. The United Nations had spent years debating a ban on killer robots, with no agreement. The technology was moving faster than diplomacy. Evidence and verification. The evidence for this AI arms race comes from multiple independent streams. First, government documents. China's 2017 AI development plan is publicly available and explicit about connecting AI to military power. Document: New Generation Artificial Intelligence Development Plan. The U.S. Department of Defense publishes budget requests showing billions allocated to Project Maven, predictive maintenance systems, and autonomous vehicles. Source: DoD Budget Justification Books, 2020 to 2024. Second, trade data reveals the scale. According to analysis by Georgetown University's Center for Security and Emerging Technology, China published more AI research papers than any other country between 2018 and 2023, though U.S. papers received more citations, suggesting higher impact. Source: CSET, December 2023. Patent filings show similar patterns. China filed 74,000 AI-related patents in 2022 alone, compared to 36,000 from the United States. Source: World Intellectual Property Organization, 2023. Visual: evidence card showing patent filing trends, 2018 to 2023. Third: whistleblower accounts and leaked documents. Thousands of pages of internal Chinese government directives leaked to journalists in 2019 detailed how AI surveillance systems were deployed in Xinjiang to track Uyghur citizens. Source: International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, 2019. Former Google employees who worked on Project Maven described in interviews how their object recognition algorithms were used to improve drone strike targeting. Source: The Intercept, 2018. These accounts align with official statements and provide operational details. Fourth: commercial evidence. The market speaks clearly. Global military AI spending reached an estimated $16 billion in 2023, with projections to hit $35 billion by 2030. Source: Markets and Markets Research, 2023. Companies like Palantir, Anduril, and Shield AI have built entire business models around defense AI contracts. Chinese firms like iFlyTech and CloudWalk have similar relationships with their military. The money trail confirms the scale. InfoCard: what we know. Government strategies exist, billions invested, systems deployed. Unconfirmed: exact military capabilities, deployment locations, kill chain integration. Fifth: incident reports provide operational evidence. In 2020, Israeli drones reportedly used AI to track and target Iranian scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh using facial recognition, though details remain disputed. Source: multiple news outlets, November 2020, confirm methods unclear. In 2021, an AI-powered Turkish drone allegedly hunted down retreating soldiers in Libya without human direction, according to a UN report. Source: UN Security Council report, March 2021. Both incidents suggest AI weapons have crossed from theory to battlefield use, though verification remains difficult. The gaps in evidence are important too. Most nations classify their AI military capabilities. We don't know how advanced Russia's systems truly are, or what Israel has sold to authoritarian regimes. China's military AI programs operate behind state secrecy laws. Even in democratic countries, classification rules hide specifics. What we see is likely only a fraction of what exists. Conflicting views and gaps. Not everyone agrees this constitutes a war or that AI dominance determines future power. Some researchers argue the AI arms race narrative is overblown, driven by think tanks and defense contractors seeking funding. They point out that many military AI projects fail, that human intelligence still outperforms machines in most strategic thinking, and that comparing AI development to nuclear weapons is misleading. Source: various academic papers, 2020 to 2023. These critics suggest cooperation, not competition, should define international aid policy. Others dispute specific claims about capabilities. When the UN report suggested a Turkish drone hunted soldiers autonomously, Turkey denied it, and technical experts noted the evidence was ambiguous. The drone had AI tracking abilities, but whether it made targeting decisions without human approval remained unclear. Similarly, claims about Chinese surveillance, AI effectiveness vary. Some reports describe an all-seeing system. Others note frequent errors, false positives, and technical limitations that prevent the dystopian scenarios from fully materializing. Pattern break. Sidebar: autonomy levels, from assisted targeting to fully independent weapons. There's also debate about whether this competition helps or harms AI safety. Some argue that racing incentivizes cutting corners on testing and safety. Others counter that competition drives innovation and that slowing down unilaterally just hands advantage to rivals who won't slow down. This disagreement runs through government, academia, and industry with no consensus. Questions remain about long-term trends. Will AI truly revolutionize warfare, or will it prove less transformative than predicted? Can international agreements limit dangerous applications, or is the technology too dual-use to regulate? Does AI favor offense or defense in cyber warfare? Experts genuinely disagree on these fundamental questions, making predictions uncertain. Human impact. The human cost of this AI arms race is already visible in multiple contexts. In Xinjiang, over 1 million Uyghur citizens have reportedly passed through detention camps, with AI surveillance systems helping authorities identify, track, and detain people based on their behavior, religious practice, and social connections. Source: multiple human rights organizations, 2018 to 2023. Former detainees describe a system where cameras on every corner fed data to algorithms that scored citizens on loyalty. Low scores meant arrest. This represents AI enabling mass human rights violations at a scale previously impossible. Visual, abstract representation of surveillance networks, no identifying images. Elsewhere, AI weapons development raises profound questions about dignity and death. When drones can track and kill without human judgment in the moment, does that violate fundamental principles of human agency? Families of those killed by drone strikes, whether AI-assisted or not, describe the trauma of sudden remote violence that arrives without warning or explanation. As autonomy increases, so does the distance between killer and killed, raising moral questions older than technology. For researchers and engineers, this race creates ethical dilemmas. Many talented AI scientists have left academia or industry rather than contribute to weapon systems. Others argue they can ensure responsible development only by staying involved. This tension splits communities, friendships, and sometimes individual consciences. There's no easy answer when your work could save lives through better medical diagnosis or end lives through better targeting systems. Expert lens: why it matters to understand why this AI competition matters so much. Consider a simple metaphor. In the 20th century, nuclear weapons were the ultimate deterrent, so destructive that possessing them changed geopolitics. But nuclear weapons are hard to build, easy to detect, and impossible to use without everyone knowing. AI is the opposite. It's relatively easy to develop with enough talent and data, hard to detect until deployed, and usable constantly without the world noticing. This makes AI competition fundamentally different and potentially more destabilizing. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine two chess players, but one has a computer analyzing every move while the other doesn't. Even if both players are equally skilled, the one with computer assistance will win almost every time. Now apply this to geopolitics. The nation with superior AI has advantages in predicting economic trends, analyzing satellite imagery, breaking encryption, targeting propaganda, and making strategic decisions. These advantages compound over time. Small leads become decisive gaps. Question: what happens when algorithms decide who's a threat? The legal and ethical frameworks aren't keeping pace. International law on armed conflict was written for humans making decisions in the heat of battle, with time for moral reasoning and legal judgment. But AI systems operate in microseconds, processing millions of data points to reach conclusions no human could verify. How do we apply concepts like proportionality, distinction between combatants and civilians, and military necessity when algorithms make the calls? These aren't abstract questions. They're becoming operational realities. From a historical perspective, this moment resembles the early nuclear age. Uncertain rules, rapid development, and recognition that the technology changes everything. But there's a crucial difference. Nuclear weapons created clear red lines. Everyone knew that using them meant extinction, so deterrence worked. With AI, the red lines are blurry. When does cyber espionage become cyber attack? When does surveillance become oppression? When does autonomous targeting become a war crime? The ambiguity itself creates danger. Mini recap. So here's what we know for certain. Multiple nations are investing billions in military and intelligence. AI systems. These systems are already deployed for surveillance, cyber operations, and assisted targeting. Some may operate with significant autonomy. The competition is accelerating, with no agreed limits or red lines. We know that technology is dual use, meaning civilian advances automatically become military capabilities. We know export controls and sanctions are escalating. We know that international law and ethics are struggling to keep up. What we don't know is more concerning. We don't know the full capabilities of classified systems. We don't know how close autonomous weapons are to making kill decisions without human approval. We don't know whether AI advantages are decisive or overrated. We don't know if current trajectories lead to stability or catastrophe. We don't know if cooperation is possible or whether competition is now locked in. Visual split screen showing verified deployments versus his suspected capabilities. This uncertainty brings us to the hardest question: what happens next? What's next? Scenarios. In the near term, several scenarios seem likely. First, the chip war will intensify. The United States will continue tightening export controls on AI hardware, and China will continue pushing domestic semiconductor production. This technological decoupling will reshape global supply chains, probably forcing companies to choose between markets. Confidence. High. The momentum is already clear and both sides have committed politically. Second, we'll see more AI-enabled cyber operations. As systems get better at finding vulnerabilities and crafting attacks, the frequency and sophistication of state-sponsored hacking will increase. Attribution will become harder as AI generates attack patterns that mimic other actors. Small nations and non-state groups will gain access to powerful cyber tools through commercial AI systems. Confidence. High. The trend is measurable and accelerating. Third, autonomous weapons will cross more thresholds. The pressure to deploy systems that operate faster than human reaction time is intense. In conflicts like Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Armenia, or Taiwan contingencies, we'll likely see weapons that track, target, and potentially engage without human approval in specific scenarios. Whether this constitutes fully autonomous weapons will be debated, but the operational reality will blur that line. Confidence. Medium to high. Technology and military incentives point this direction, but political and ethical resistance remains strong. Pattern break. Question. Will we recognize the moment AI warfare becomes normal? Fourth, regulation will lag but eventually arrive. After enough incidents or near misses, international pressure will force some agreements. These will probably focus on narrow prohibitions, like no autonomous weapons targeting civilians or no AI-generated deepfakes during elections, rather than comprehensive bans. Think of arms control treaties, limited but real. Confidence, medium. History suggests regulation follows crisis, but timing and scope are unpredictable. Fifth, the competition might bifurcate technology itself. We could end up with separate AI ecosystems, a Western one prioritizing transparency and rights, a Chinese one prioritizing stability and control, and various regional approaches. This would mean incompatible standards, parallel supply chains, and fundamentally different digital realities in different parts of the world. Confidence, medium. Current trends suggest this, but commercial pressures favor interoperability. What's less certain is whether this competition leads to direct conflict. Some analysts worry that AI advantages could make nations think they can win wars quickly and cleanly, lowering the threshold for using force. Others argue that AI surveillance and predictive systems actually reduce miscalculation by giving leaders better information. Both could be true in different contexts. Confidence, low. Too many variables, too little historical precedent. The scenario that keeps experts awake is accidental escalation. Imagine AI systems on both sides operating at high speed, each responding to the other's moves, creating a feedback loop that spirals beyond human control before anyone realizes what's happening. It sounds like science fiction, but algorithmic trading has caused flash crashes in financial markets. Military applications are higher stakes. Preventing this requires technical safeguards and human oversight that may be abandoned during crises. Confidence, low to medium. Plausible but avoidable with proper design. Outro and CTA, the AI war between nations isn't coming. It's here, unfolding in parallel with our daily lives, mostly invisible, but deeply consequential. The winner won't necessarily be whoever builds the most advanced algorithm. It might be whoever figures out how to align these powerful systems with human values, international law, and basic dignity. Or maybe there won't be a winner at all, just different versions of a future shaped by machines we built, but don't fully control. If you want to understand how this technology works in practice, watch our next video, How AI Surveillance Actually Works Inside the System. It breaks down the technical reality behind these systems without the hype or fear-mongering. Before you go, a note on sources. This documentary drew from government documents, academic research, investigative journalism, and publicly available data. Some claims remain impossible to verify fully due to classification. The situation is developing constantly. What's accurate today may be outdated next month. We'll update with corrections or new information as it becomes available. No speculation was presented as fact, and all significant claims were attributed to sources. The goal was understanding, not taking sides in competitions between nations or ideologies. Source notes and disclaimer. This documentary relied on open-source intelligence, published government strategies, academic research from institutions like Georgetown's Center for Security and Emerging Technology, investigative reporting from outlets including the New York Times, MIT Technology Review, and The Intercept, and reports from organizations like Human Rights Watch and the United Nations. Where capabilities remain classified or disputed, language was carefully hedged using terms like reported, alleged, or according to. No classified information was used. The complexities of this topic mean some details remain uncertain, and viewers are encouraged to consult primary sources. This documentary aimed for factual accuracy and neutral presentation of a contested, evolving situation. If you notice errors or have additional verified information, corrections are welcome through proper channels. In the end, the real question isn't who wins the AI war, but who we become after it.